How's your week been?
Um, I mean, minus like today, it's been pretty good, I guess. I mean, work is picking up. Um, you know. But yeah, I mean, like today's been kind of well, I mean, today wasn't a bad day, minus the past like 3 hours has not been great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I debated whether I was gonna talk about this or not. But like I guess our whole shtick, right, is encouraging people to be like open and vulnerable and shit
Right.
like that. So I am going to talk about it just because, I figure it'd be a little hypocritical, right? That we're
Yeah.
encouraging people to like be open and honest and talk about what's going on and whatnot. And then for me not to,
Hmm.
I feel like would be wrong. But yeah, so my grandma's been like not doing well for a while now. Has like a chronic heart disease
Right.
and she had another heart attack today. So I don't know if you remember, but she had one when we still worked at our old employer. I don't know if you remember or not, but there was like a
Hmm.
day where I think I took off because of that.
Right.
So she had another one today. So now she's down to like 35% functioning in her heart. Before the last heart attack, it was at like 55%.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, congestive heart failure. So now she's in, and I've never heard of this. I had to look it up. Palliative care. That's how you pronounce it. Palliative. But what my understanding is like a step above hospice.
Really?
Yeah, so it's
Just the
like
clubhouse.
so like hospice would be like the next step. So it's like a step above hospice.
I see.
Um, yeah. So like from what I looked up, it's basically the type of care that's just about making you comfortable.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, and what's rough is because of COVID, we can't go see her. Like no one can go see her.
Yeah.
Because of the whole COVID thing. So I mean, that's kind of I guess like the past few hours that I've been dealing with. But otherwise, the week has been positive.
That's
you
good.
know, yeah, minus that. But what about you? I know you've been in like a world of hurt for like the past like week or
Fuck,
so.
man. Yeah, dude. So I had tendonitis in my right foot, like by the where the Achilles tendon was, where the
Mm-hmm.
Achilles tendon meets the heel, and it happened about 2 weeks ago. It started off as just a sore. Like it was just sore at first, and I didn't really think anything of it. And I was like, "Oh, it's probably because I stressed it out too much." But then my dumbass kept walking on it, kept going up the stairs and going down the stairs, and kept doing all these things. And eventually got a little worse, and it got to a point where I felt like it was at the most painful. And it was to a point where I just didn't want to put pressure on it because if I put pressure on it, it hurt.
Uh huh.
So I was walking kind of funny. I was walking on the ball of my foot. At that point, I should have just been like, maybe I should just sit and ice it. That's what I should do. So I was walking on the ball of my foot, and then I realized the next day the top of my foot started to get sore. I'm like, fuck. So then I was stressed. Then I realized, like, when you put your foot on the ball of your foot and then you push down, you feel what that pressure is.
Mm-hmm.
It's at the top of your foot, and that's where the strain was. And so, I mean, I was walking around for like 3 days like that, going up and down the stairs. So now I had a sore Achilles tendon, and I also had a sore foot at the top of it.
Oh.
And so I had this combination of soreness on the top of my foot and the bottom of my foot. And at night it got really bad because at night, I guess, your stress hormones go down, you start to feel shit a lot more, and your body's not protecting you as much. So it's just like when I got tired, my foot started to like feel throb, and it got pretty painful at night.
So what exactly
So
is tendonitis? Like, I mean, I've heard of it. Like, it's not
it's
like a
just
foreign
inflammation.
concept, but
It's just
okay.
inflammation of the tendon. Yeah, it's an inflammation of the tendon. It's usually caused by like sudden stress to it. Like a good example would be like in your elbows. If you go and you lift weights, and it happened in my elbows before. If you go and lift weights after a really long hiatus, you go and lift weights, your elbow is going to get a little sore
Mm-hmm.
after first time going back. So I think it was particularly cold that day, and I have a habit of not wearing any socks or slippers, anything like that. So my feet were really cold, and the way my stairs are kind of short. Like they don't like if I step on the stair, half of my foot's hanging off of it.
Mm-hmm.
So the back of my heel was just kind of like doing this thing, and I was just, I've been a lot more active lately, so I've been running up and down the stairs, and I was just hyperextending my heel the entire time. And it doesn't help that I injured my right foot, my right ankle. I've sprained it 2, 3 times, and I've twisted at least another additional 3, 4 times. So
Hmm.
my right ankle's not in the best shape either.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm. It got to a point where I could barely walk. I couldn't walk. Just to go take a piss, I was in like a lot of pain because I couldn't put pressure on that foot at all. So I was
Did,
literally hopping around everywhere.
do you have any crutches?
Uh-uh.
Mm.
I mean, I ordered a pressure boot, and it came in last Thursday. Um, no, this all started last Monday. My apologies. Yeah.
Because
So
I was gonna ask, I was like, did it just work itself out, or like, is this
Mhm.
gonna be like an ongoing thing, or?
It worked itself out. I'm like almost 100% now. I just needed to lay off of it. Like it usually starts as something small, but if you keep fucking, because it's a tendon, it's not a muscle, you know.
Yeah.
And so you keep using it, all you're doing is just stressing it out even more, and that's what I was doing. So part of it's my fault for keep walking around. I just kept walking around and going up the stairs and going down the stairs. I was being stubborn. I was just like, oh, it'll go away in a couple days, and before I knew it, it was like I made it worse.
Yeah, I've never had
So
tendonitis. I've had bursitis though.
bursitis, what is that?
It's like an inflammation of your bursa sac. So like in your joints, there's like a liquidy kind of thing. So like I had like that because when I really dumb story. When I was younger, I discovered if I punched really quickly, my elbows would pop, and I thought it was funny. So I'd go around going like pop, 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 because I
Oh
thought it was
Jesus.
funny. And then
Yeah.
eventually I like couldn't move my fucking elbow anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was not good.
Yeah. It does not feel good. So yeah, I was in a world of hurt. From like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday started to become more manageable, and then Sundays when I started to feel a lot better.
Hmm.
Then up to today, I can walk on it no problem now.
Oh,
But
good.
I'm still careful because I can still feel like a little bit of tightness in certain places. So I was just like, I should still take it easy. I should still ice it.
Hmm.
So I'm still wearing their pressure boot just in case, even though I don't have to. I only have an anklet on right now, or an ankle brace on right now, just to keep my mobility limited. But
Hmm.
yeah, I think by the weekend I'll be 100%. But
That's good.
yeah, and what sucked the most about the whole thing, and it just got the best of me because I reached out to so much family, dude. I was like, hey, do you know anybody who can help me out? I've even reached out to my parents because of the whole fucking coronavirus thing. Everybody's scared to leave their house.
Hmm.
I had a couple friends who were nice enough to reach out, including yourself, but one of them I just didn't know very well. And I was
Yeah.
like, I'm not going to make you drive from Ashburn to here to help me out. Like we've never met. Like we played, games together a few times, and we've talked a few times, and we had a couple bro moments and stuff, but like I'm not going to make you drive all the way from Ashburn to here just to help me
Yeah.
out. So, and Shauna fucking laughed at me, which I thought was hilarious because that's just how Shauna is. But
Why'd she laugh at you?
no, because like I literally had to crawl to the door. So a couple days I had to order carryout because I couldn't go up the stairs and I had no help. And so
Hmm.
I literally had to, in the mornings, I would hobble to the bathroom, hobble to the garage door and open it, and I would sit down and I would try to work as much as I can before I have to lay down and elevate the leg before it starts to hurt. They got to a point where it was just like at the peak of the pain, like I was literally crawling everywhere. And
Yeah.
so I had to tell the Uber Eats guys, like, hey, can you leave the food in front of the door inside the garage? And he was, they were all like really nice about it. And I told him, I was like, I'm sorry, I know I sound really lazy, but I have a badly hurt foot, and I just want to limit my mobility. And it's just funny, I had to tell my whole life story for them to deliver some fucking food, someone they're never even gonna meet. But they did it, and they helped me out big time. I just crawled to the door, grabbed the food, came back inside. But
I actually talked to Shauna a week ago, a few days
yeah,
ago.
nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
That's well. I'm glad that you're getting better. I mean, that's good. I'm glad to hear
Yeah.
that.
I was just in a lot of pain, so I was just so pissed, man, because I reached out to family. I even tried to pay someone to come by. I tried to pay a caregiver
Damn.
to come by and help me out. Like I'm paying this out of pocket. I'm not going through insurance or anything. And for caretakers, I'm not gonna call anybody out, but for caretakers, some shitty people on there, man.
Well, yeah, we know that, right?
And and the first question is always like, "What's the pay? What's the pay? What's the pay?" I was like, "Is it enough hours?" And they would refuse to come and help me if it wasn't enough hours. I'm just like, "Listen, man, the job is so simple." I even offered this one person, it's like, "Hey, if you want to just sit here and hang out, I can pay you this much. I could pay you 15 an hour for you
Yeah.
literally just to make my lunch, to make my dinner, and grab me water and tea. That's it." Like a 10-year-old can do it.
And no one would be willing to?
No one was willing to do that. No one was willing to do that. And this one person was like, "Oh, I'm trying to get full-time hours in." I'm just like, "Listen, I'm 36-year-old with a I just have a hurt foot. Like I have tendonitis in my foot.
Yeah.
I'm not someone who just shits themselves all day. Knock on wood, but
You're not there
I
yet.
don't require that kind of care. I'm just asking you to fix me a salad for lunch, fix me a salad and air fry some fish for me for dinner,
Yeah.
and make me a fucking tea and give me some water."
I mean, you could have tried Craigslist, but you may have ended up chopped up and in a suitcase.
Yeah,
So it's
it's a,
probably a
it's a
good thing
little
you
late
didn't.
for that now. I mean, I could take care of myself now. I've been able to since Monday,
Yeah.
so I mean, it's a little late for that. But I lost faith in humanity for a little bit there. Like it really ticked me off.
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised that like even family wouldn't like come over to help. Like that's what I was more surprised about when you told me. I was like, "Damn, really?"
Yeah. I even reached out to family, and they were like, "I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do." It's like, "Oh, I can ask around for you." Never followed up after that. And it
Damn.
sucks, dude.
Hey, Milo, what's up, man? Welcome, welcome. Yeah, that's rough, dude. That
Yeah.
is rough. So, like, is your faith in humanity restored, or are you still like at this place now of just like, man, people by
I mean,
nature suck?
it was always there. I mean, I get it though. I get it. Like everybody's struggling right now. Like majority of the people out there are all struggling. There's some folks who don't have a job at all, and there's some folks who desperately need money, and they're just trying to find the best deal for them, and trying to utilize their time the best because they got mouths to feed. I get that, but the amount of people that reached out for and not a single person was like, "Yeah, let's talk. Let me give you a call or something like that and figure out what it is exactly that you need."
Mm-hmm.
You know, but
So, Milo, you're new. You haven't been to this podcast before. So just a quick little spiel. Um, yeah, we are all ripping the vape at this point. But yeah, so this is color proof over, I guess,
oh
there.
man,
I know him because we used to work together at a adolescent residential mental health facility for kids. So this podcast, we typically talk about like mental health topics and video games. We also take viewer questions throughout the podcast or talk show, whatever you want to call this. So if at any point, if you have any questions, mental health related or otherwise, you just put them in the chat and we'll address them like as we can. All of these episodes are uploaded on my YouTube, and sometimes we have guests like Jeremy Dowsett likes to make appearances from time to time. He was actually on last week and a month before that, 2 months. No, fuck, it was before the pandemic, so like 3 months before that. So yeah, tonight. So the past few episodes, you've just been kind of just catching up with each other because we miss each other. We actually do have a topic we can talk about tonight. Zero Skill submitted a question for us. Did you have any opportunity to think about that? Do you remember the question? I actually had to go back and look it up. We'll get.
I don't remember. We can wing it though. We can wing it. I'm pretty sure we can.
We can. We'll get there.
What's up, Sheep? I'm about to call you Shank. I mean Sheep. What's up, dude?
Hey, Sheep. Welcome. Yeah. So all that you've missed so far for joining now is we talked about how our week's been going. I mentioned that my week has been okay minus the past 3 hours, and then we talked about previously Cripple Boy here, who now is much better and on the men. That's a great question. We will get to that. Actually, I like that question a lot, and I think we will get to that in a few minutes. But yeah. Well, actually, fuck. We want to get into that. So Milo's asking,
we might as well.
how do you deal with the breakup? Just happened to me 2 months ago. 1.5 years. I'm assuming the 1.5 years is how long you were together. Having a rough time going through it. So I was about to say a really cliche thing, but you want to? Do you have any thoughts first?
I mean, how are you feeling? I think that's the most important question to ask yourself is how are you feeling right now? You're 18, that's fine. We're all human.
I mean, yeah. I mean, even if you were like 35, like a year and a half breakup, like a year and a half relationship breakup is going to be hard no matter what your age, right?
It's gonna hurt. Trucking through day by day. I mean, my thoughts is this: when something bad happens to you, or when something sad, regardless of what it is, if it triggers a certain emotions, allow yourself to feel it. It's okay to feel those emotions, but it gets to a certain point where you have to think about how you're gonna move forward, right? You're gonna have to start positive affirmations, right? Like what are some of the benefits of the situation that you're in now? Accept it, right? Accept the fact that you and so are not together anymore, and allow yourself to feel it and learn from it. But at the same time, you want to accept it and move forward. Don, you can get into like the more technical details.
Yeah. No, that's great advice though. But like, so when you say you're having like a hard time, so you break down what's going through your head. It would be my first question. So like, therapy wise, I do CBT, so cognitive behavior therapy. So I typically try to look at things a lot of the times of like, I'm going off camera for a second. I typically try to look at things from a perspective of how your thoughts impact how you feel and how you behave. So I would first want to try to have you like examine like what are you thinking in those moments where you have like a harder time dealing with the breakup. So you're focusing on the good times. Okay. But like, what are you thinking? Is it like remorse, like missing, like shit, this is what I had. How could I have lost this? I made a big mistake. Like that would be the kind of stuff I would want to examine. But typically like, this is really cliche, but you're 18. Statistically, you're probably going to break up at some point. This is going to sound really cold and harsh. I don't mean it to. I'm just saying like, okay, so I'm 33. I'm married to an amazing woman. I've had many breakups where every time, and actually my wife was present for one of these breakups. Pretty sure I told her like, I'm giving up on everything. Like no one's ever going to be as good as this one person. And that my ex that before my wife was a crazy bitch. But I'm pretty sure I even told her like, it's never going to get any better than her. Like I'm done. I remember this conversation because I was actually in her car because I was friends with my wife well before we ever dated. Okay. So you're asking yourself like, what could I have done that maybe she would have stayed with me or things would have kept going. So that I would say is personalization and blame. So it sounds like you're kind of blaming yourself for something that you're not entirely responsible for. I also don't know all the details of your breakup, and it's probably kind of hard to like walk those waters without knowing all the details. We broke up due to the time. Oh. So like a stage of life change kind of thing? Like you all were like drifting in different directions in life and it was just a natural place to end? Okay. So how is that your fault? Would be the first question. Like examine the evidence. So like when you have those moments of doubt and questioning yourself, step back objectively if you can and examine the evidence. Like we call it like putting the thought on trial. So you do like a evidence for, evidence against, right? That would be kind of one thing. But also reminding yourself that like, and this is cliche as hell, but you're young, there's plenty of fish in the sea. Okay, so like I would say like a good healthy relationship, you all probably should not be yelling at each other. So there may have been problems with this relationship, and a lot of the times we have the like rosy goggles looking back at relationships. Like we kind of tend to like romanticize and just think of like the positives and ignore all the shit. So like I was once in like a really bad relationship a long time ago. I dated this girl for like 3 years, right? We kept breaking up and getting back together, and every time we would break up, I would look back and be like, "Ah, oh, this woman's amazing." And then when I was with her, I was always like, "What the fuck am I doing? This bitch is crazy." Like so like when you're like, a lot of us tend to look back and romanticize and think of things as like they really weren't, right? Does that make sense? What I'm saying? Color, does that make sense? What I'm saying? Anyone?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, just making sure. Yeah, so like it sounds like things weren't always that great, right? Any sort of thoughts of like I can't get anyone else, no one's ever going to be better than this person, that's all irrational and bullshit, you know. Yeah, you can't. Yeah. So like even like as a therapist, like if hypothetically if my wife had depression and anxiety issues, I can't help her with it either. Right? Like you can't, yeah. Even as a trained therapist, I can't do that. Like it's unethical. I couldn't do that anyway. And someone who's 18 years old and is not a trained therapist, clearly you can't treat someone's depression, right?
Do you feel as if it's his responsibility either?
To treat his girlfriend's depression or anxiety?
Or to try to help her with it? Or do you feel as if it is I guess it depends on what you describe as help. If you were like, hey, maybe you should seek some help, would you consider that help?
Yeah, probably. I mean, that sort of thing is okay to do,
That
right?
sort of thing is okay.
Yeah, I would say so. Like, I mean, definitely, I'm not trying to make it seem like if my wife was sad, I'd be like, not my problem, bitch.
Oh.
Like, go get yourself
I
a
hope
therapist. No, but like, you can, yeah, like you can only do so much. Sitting there and hugging her, yeah, that's probably all you could do, right? But like, so distractions are good. Like you said that like playing golf is helpful. Sorry, I'm reading what you've said so far in chat. But yeah, like distractions are good. Reminding yourself that like you're young, you'll find other people. Maybe reminding yourself of the bad stuff about the relationship can maybe help. So if you're idealizing it and overthinking of all the like wonderful things, maybe reminding yourself like, well, shit wasn't always that great. There was this problem and this problem. So trying to take a more objective, realistic look at things and not putting on those like, rosy goggles looking back at it. Yeah.
I don't understand the rosy goggles concept.
I may not be wording it well, but like, so like, I feel like his memories are, like looking at the world through like rose colored glasses, right?
All right.
You know that saying where like everything's wonderful. I feel like a lot of the times with relationships, we tend to look back at them rose colored glasses. Thank you, Sheep King. Yeah. I feel like with relationships, a lot of the times, especially if we're like lonely, we like tend to like look back at our relationships with the rose colored glasses instead of realizing the faults and the bad things that there actually were. I know I do, at least. I did all the time. Like if I would like break up with a girl or she dumps me months later, if I was like, missing her, I would never think of all the bad shit that the bitch put me through. It would always be like all the amazing things that she did and only focusing on all the positives. And it sounds like the relationship wasn't all sunshine and roses, is my guess. Well, that's probably a problem there, Milo. So, yeah. So, like, here's and this is going to, again, sound really bad. I'm only friendly with one of my exes. So it's okay with you because you like to help people, but is it hurting you at the same time by still being friends with this person that you're clearly still in love with? Right? That's what I would say. I'm sure it does hurt. Yeah, dude, like, I mean, obviously I can't tell you what to do and I don't know all the details, but like in my own, for me, and Color may have a different piece of advice. For me personally, if I break up with a girl or she breaks up with me, I'm not friends with her anymore. I've tried it. It never works for me. I can't move on until like she's out of my life and I can move on personally.
I feel the same way.
Yeah. Like I really can't. Yeah. So that's what I would probably say, man, is like, it's probably, I imagine it's not helpful for your own mental state. Yeah, Sheep agrees, right? I'm assuming Sheep is agreeing with what I'm saying as far as like when you're when they're an X, they should be an X, and there's probably a reason why. Yeah. Yeah, that's just like, it's admirable that like you want that you like helping people, because I get that too. I'm a helper also, clearly, or I wouldn't do what I do. For in Color, I'm sure is the same way, because he wouldn't do what he does. Because even before, correct me if I'm wrong, dude, but even before you did residential, you were like an EMT or a paramedic or something.
Oh yeah, I was a volunteer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we're all helpers here, right? Like we all like
Yeah.
to be helpful, but like, so there's a whole thing of like, and I tell this to like parents, and we've said this before on the podcast, but like when you're on an airplane and the oxygen masks come down, you put it on yourself first and before you help others. And I feel like you trying to help her through her issues is hurting you and a detriment to you, probably. So, okay, you asked, is it bad that you're still trying to help her? Like, only you can answer that, right? Like, I know you because we play Siege together and we're in Iron Mountain together, but I don't know, like, I don't know you, right? And I don't know her at all. Only you can answer that question, but like, my gut says it's probably not helping you get over her by continuing to like be her emotional support, right? Yeah.
I think he's trying to help her. I don't think he's trying to fix her. I think
Yeah.
I think a natural reaction for someone you care about is to want to help or try to fix. And I think for a lot of people there's like a gray area of trying to fix and help, because helping can lead to trying to fix, but I would strongly discourage from trying to fix.
And I got news, Milo. I knew that I could tell that there was something wrong with you a couple nights when we played, but anyway, it's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
I could tell a couple of the times that you weren't okay, but that's neither here nor there. I have a sixth sense, or I can smell the bullshit in the air. But that's what you need to ask yourself, dude, is like, one, what's the motivation, right? Like, why are you doing this? Two, does it hurt you? Because even if you're helping them but hurting yourself, over time, you can only carry so much, right? Like, over time, that's going to weigh you down.
Right.
And you seem like a good person, so I'm not going to go down the path I would ask some people, because I don't think you're doing that, so I'm not going to go down that path. But I was going to ask, are you trying to secretly win her back by being super nice and helpful? Why is it your job? Why is it your job? So earlier you said that the breakup was rough. You're having a really hard time with the breakup, right? Like you feel like the breakup was really rough on you. So like clearly it's not just hurting you that she's upset. The fact that you're not with her is also hurting you, right? And you're looking at pictures and reminiscing. And I imagine having her constantly in your life makes that difficult to move on. Feel like God put you on earth to help her with her relationship and her depression and anxiety?
Well, I mean, I can also say that, the more you're around her, the more those feelings are going to linger around.
God, okay, that makes a lot more sense. God put you down here to help people, no matter who the person is. Okay. So, I mean, like, okay, so, like, I get that, and, like, my job is to help people too, right? But there are, like, rules and guidelines. Apocalypso with the sub, 2 months in a row. Thank you so much. Wow, I am like a butterfly. Ooh, a sub. Oh my God. Thank you. I appreciate it, Apocalypse. Okay, I was saying, my job is to help people too, right? But there's boundaries, there's rules, and there's like guidelines, right? So like, I don't know if like you. Okay, so for instance, as a therapist, I can say at least as a therapist, like, the fuck was that? Anyway, so I have a window open. I heard a weird animal outside. Live in the woods. Okay, so man, I can't. My brain tonight cannot stay on topic. Okay, there's boundaries and rules and like guidelines and ethics, right? So like, I want to help everyone I can too, but there's certain people I can't help, certain people I shouldn't help, right? Someone else can help them. Yeah, I know, sheep. Yeah, so like, it may be your job on this earth to help people, but maybe she's one that you shouldn't help. Maybe someone else can help her, right? Because it's hurting you to help her. Because one, it's making you upset to see her upset. I feel like there's more to that in the sense of like you constantly being exposed to her. You making fun of me, Color?
No, I'm not.
I'm
As far as
joking.
he was like, "Hey, you fixed your screens here. You're not blinking anymore." And so I muted. I know it looked really weird because no
You're,
sound was coming out from my end, and I was
you're
just blinking
fine.
at the cam.
Yeah, so like I think it hurts you to see her upset. I think it also hurts you because you're not able to move on because you're constantly seeing her. You're seeing her in a relationship with someone that you say is not doing a good job and not treating her right. So I imagine in the back of your mind you're also thinking, shit, I would treat her better than he would treat her. Why isn't she with me instead? Like it's really messy, man. That's kind of what I'm getting at. I can't tell you what to do, but like it's a sticky situation. And I feel like it's prolonging your sorrow and it's making it harder for you to move on. Basically. Yeah. So my advice in general is I personally am not friends with any of my exes. There's one ex that I'm friendly with. I only dated her for like a couple months. And like, yeah. So that's still, I mean, that's kind of my thing is I don't do that. Sure. People who can make you laugh and make you think you're okay. God bless them. But there's other people besides her that can do that. So that's the other thing too, is right. Like it's like there's other people who can make you laugh and make you think you're okay. There you go. Yeah. So my general advice would be like I would drop that. I would yeah. I'd put yourself first. That's the way to think of it. Not
Yeah.
screw her, but I'm important because I need to take care of myself first, and this is not healthy for me. Yeah. I'm sure she has friends that could help her. Oh God. What are you gonna say next?
Who? Me?
No, Milo.
Oh,
Oh, you put everyone. I know you do, and you need to stop doing that.
yeah. It's your life, man. Gotta take care of you.
You see this all the time with mental health workers, and I know Color can speak about that. Putting everyone above yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Eventually, you're gonna snap from the pressure, and it's not gonna be good. I've been there as well. I've been there as well. So I'm gonna propose the question that Zero asked, so we can
Sure.
think on it, and chat can get in. It does suck, Milo. It does, but that is also life. Life is pain, and life is suffering. So that's super depressing, and I'm sorry. So chat, I'm curious your guys' answer to this as well. So Zero Skill, some of you guys may know him. He proposed this topic for an episode. What was a memorable game for you? What kind of impact did it have on you? Why was it significant? Are there any real life memories that are tied to that game? So, what is a memorable video game for you? What kind of impact did it have on you? And why is it so
Hmm.
significant? And are there any real life memories tied to that game?
Oh yeah.
That is a good question.
Mm-hmm. That is a good question.
And I'm curious to see what chat has to say too. But what you're
Yeah.
about to say something, and I interrupted you.
No, my most memorable game was Final Fantasy VII
Hmm.
on the original PlayStation.
Why?
It was just an amazing game. So that's just one of my favorite games. But it wasn't memorable. It didn't link to anything real life. The game that had the most impact on my life was Counter-Strike, believe it or not.
Hmm.
Because I used to go to a Korean-owned internet cafe in my area, and I used to frequent there all the time. And I've met a lot of people there. I've gotten into fights there. I've
Like, let me pause. You got into fights
uh,
at a Korean cyber cafe?
well, it wasn't like a fist fight. It was more so like, hey, that's the place that everybody knows of. So let's meet there and quote unquote talk.
Oh.
Or let's go there after this, and then you'd run into someone, and then you know how shit goes down sometimes.
So it's like the I'll meet you at the bike rack after school sort of
Yeah, pretty
thing?
much. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it wasn't. I never went out and looked for fights. That wasn't the kind of person I was. I never went out and looked for a fight. But sometimes you get into tussles with people, and you just run into them in places. And that place was just popular, and a lot of people went there. And so the regulars there are, you know, people you don't typically want to associate with. You just ran into them there. Sometimes they have something to say to you.
Huh.
That's how it is. But yeah, man, I used to skip school to go there. I used to go there after school, and even after I graduated, that was still a regular place. And I think that's what really got me into FPS games was playing games there. I
Huh.
mean, there were nights where it was me and a friend, and we'd be there till like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, playing Warcraft 3 custom games, tower defense and shit. You know, when there weren't enough people to get like a full game going, there was only like maybe 4 or 5 people in there. Yeah, man, we made some memories.
So for me, like, it's a hard question for me. I have two answers, but I'm gonna assume that the question is more so asking about video games. So I'll give that answer first. Um, I guess the one that had the biggest impact for me.
Oh no, that was actually a really dark answer. I'll give my answer later. I'll give another answer later. I have another much more positive one, but go ahead. I don't take up all the time.
Um, yeah, so like it's actually not like as old of a game. So World of Warcraft, I would say probably for me.
That was another one.
Yeah, I would say probably World of Warcraft, and the reason for that is probably I think it got that thirst to grind. Like before that, I never really had like a thirst to like grind and be the best at a video game. Like there was other games that I would say like maybe influenced what I like to play. Like GoldenEye was like the first person shooter I ever played. That probably made me fall in love with that genre. But like WoW was the first game that really grabbed me by the balls and was like, dude, you're not going anywhere. You're playing this fucking game. You're gonna be the best that you can be at this game. I mean, so much to where I got a damn World of Warcraft tattoo. I mean,
And I see that little troll mask you got back there too.
yeah.
I just noticed that today.
It wasn't up there until the past week.
Oh, okay.
Because I wore it at the end of my last video I made for some random fucking reason. But yeah, so I would say World of Warcraft. If we're not talking video games, I would say, and as far as memories that are tied to it, I mean, me and my best friend Nathan, who Iron Mountain people will know as Textual Fiber, we would stay up like all night, literally. Like we would pull like 24-hour WoW binges. I mean, lots of bonding with WoW. I also played that game for like 7 years, so it's hard to pick like specific life memories.
Ooh. Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, it was
Wait, you're talking about GoldenEye?
No, WoW.
Wow. Okay. That makes
No,
more sense.
wow. Yeah.
Okay.
That'd be crazy to play GoldenEye for 7 years.
Yeah. I was
Actually,
like,
WoW may
dude.
not have been 7 years. It was vanilla through Cataclysm. So that probably is like 6 years or so, I would say, right?
I would say so.
Yeah.
Like Vanilla was out for how long? 2 years before Burning Crusade,
Yeah.
and then Wrath,
Mm-hmm.
and then Cataclysm.
Yeah, and I
Yeah,
stopped
that's 6
after.
years.
Yeah.
That's about 6 years. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I got bored after Cataclysm. I couldn't do it anymore. I also got sick of the subscriptions and stuff. So I can't really say a specific memory tied to it, but like lots of like staying up for raiding and all that stuff. But a non-video game answer, honestly, Magic the Gathering
Oh.
and Warhammer. I
Okay.
would say it got me starting to think like tactically in games and like strategically. Yeah, so those would probably be other ones. So
Warhammer, that's the one where you use a ruler, right?
mm-hmm, you do, yeah.
I don't know why I made this gesture. I don't know why I did this.
Ruler. Well, what's actually funny is I actually know like I can eyeball 18 inches good as shit because I know the distance between my elbow and my pointer finger is about 18 inches.
Okay.
Because the army I played was Empire, and like a lot of your like cannons and stuff, you had to guess the range and then roll
Don't
a
clip that
die.
without context. Okay.
You
Don't
had
clip that without context.
you had to yeah, please don't. You had to guess the range of like your like
I made you
cannons.
clip it, chat. I made you clip it.
Don't do it. You have to like guess the
Don't do
you have to like guess the range. So I got really good at eyeballing like distances. And I would use the Pythagorean theorem all the time because I'd be like, my cannon's here. I know my cannon to this unit is 6 inches. The enemy's about this far away. Do the math. Okay, I'm going to guess this far. And I was like, I was full nerding. I was using math in a fucking game. And yeah.
But I mean, that's what Warhammer was, though, right? Like you had to
Yeah.
do. It was like a actual tactical game. You have to put like math. You have to use like math and shit in
Yeah.
it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No, mine was WoW too. For a more positive memory, mine was WoW.
Yeah.
Definitely WoW. I have some lifelong friends I've actually flown out to go visit, and we're still friends till this day. We've been friends for over 10 years now. So I mean, I was how old was I when I met them? I was 25, 24 years old. No, 25, 26 years old when I met them, and I'm 36 years old now.
Yeah. Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah, I mean, so I know all about. I never played D&D, but like I used to work at a comic book gaming store. That's actually where I started playing Warhammer at. So chat, we got Pokemon. I would not have guessed
Pokemon's a
Pokemon.
good one.
That is a good one though.
Oh, Pokemon. I remember when it came out for the Game Boy, man.
Mm-hmm.
When it came
Yeah.
out for the Game Boy, and I think that was the first. I think that was actually the first system it came out for. It was actually for the Game Boy.
Did you get red or blue?
Well, I didn't get it. My cousin got it, and I would play on my cousin's Game Boy when I went to his house over the summer. Yeah, Siege
Yeah.
is another one.
Yeah, I was trying not to say Siege just because like it's that's like my current thing.
Yeah.
Obviously, like I mean, Siege replaced WoW as far as the like game obsession. There was a gap of years, obviously, between them, but because yeah, between WoW and Siege, I didn't really find a game that just like grabbed me by the balls and was like, "You're gonna fucking grind this game and play it." Like I played like other games in between, like Battlefield, like the Battlefields that came out in between and stuff. But Guild Wars 2 came close, but like it didn't have the same pull. I also was at a place in my life with WoW that I could afford to play the game for 24 hours straight, where like now I can't, obviously.
Right.
But I imagine if Siege existed back when Vanilla WoW came out, I probably would have grinded that like crazy.
Yeah.
Of course, I actually thought Siege looked dumb as fuck when I first saw it. I thought it looked so fucking stupid.
Really?
I thought the game looked really dumb. Yeah, I didn't get it.
Oh.
Yeah. I was like, why the fuck do they have these little like dangly charms on their guns? Like, this is really stupid. Like, I didn't think Siege looked cool when I first saw it. But
That's funny because when I first saw Siege, I thought that game looked like amazing as shit. I was like, oh, if this is what it's really like.
yeah,
But something else caught my attention when Siege came out, and so it just kind of I left it on the back burner, and I never really touched it. But I forgot what game it was.
yeah. Yeah, no, like what actually got me into Siege, I was doing in-home counseling at the time. I had a male client, 16. He was really into Siege, and he knew I played video games because like that I told him that to kind of build rapport. And if he did session and did well, I would then like sit with him while he played video games for like 20 minutes as like a reward. Clue.
It's cool.
I'm curious why Clue. Yeah, and he was showing
Clue.
it to me, and he was like, "Dude, you really need to like try this game. You love Battlefield. I know you'll love this game." So I watched him play some, and I was like, "This game looks really dumb," And then he let me try it, but of course I wasn't gonna change his sensitivity, so like I was really shitty, and I was just like, whatever, dude. And then I like one day I just started like watching like a couple like get flanked videos actually, and that got me into. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
maybe this game has some depth to it, and maybe there's more to it than meets the eye, and then yeah, but
No, Clue is fun, man. Clue brings me way back when I was in elementary school. Because one of my neighbors I was close friends with at the time, over Christmas break, where my parents were still working, I would go over to my best friend's house, and I would go there in the morning, and the first thing we would do is just play board games. That's all we would do is play board games all throughout the morning, up until about lunch when it got warmer, and then we got on ride our bikes. But we played Clue like crazy. And yeah, because his family was hardcore Christian, and so they had like the whole Christmas decoration all set. I'd never seen anything like it because my family doesn't really celebrate. So I would go to his house, and his house would be decked out in like Christmas, and it just brought back a lot of memories.
yeah.
Yeah, Clue was a fun game. I like Clue.
I'm trying to remember board games growing up. Like I remember we played a lot of Risk
Risk.
and like
We
Axis
never
and like Axis and Allies.
One game we didn't really play much was I was surprised about was Monopoly. We didn't play much Monopoly. We played a lot of what was that? What was that game called? There was like this. There was these dice in the middle and this little dome, and you would hit the dome and it would click and it would roll the dice for you. What was it called?
Sorry,
Sorry. Yeah, that's it.
I think it's Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, we play Sorry, play Shoots and Ladders, play Clue, play Guess Who.
Guess Who? Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah,
Guess Who's a
Guess
good
Who
one.
was fun.
There's actually some really good board games now that
Yeah,
I remember.
they
So
get a lot
like,
more intricate now.
yeah, like I remember Friday night at Beholder's Eye, the gaming store I used to work at a long time ago, was board game night every Friday, and we would play like
Nice, too.
Settlers of Catan. We'd play a lot of
Mm.
that. Yeah. Recently, actually, my wife and I were at a work function of hers, and we were playing a game called Pandemic. I think is what the game's called. Should correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was called Pandemic, which was very like fitting because shortly after
I was gonna
here
say,
we are. But that game is good. It's really good.
It is fitting.
It's a good game. Payday. I never played Payday. I know that's a candy bar, right?
I remember it as that heist game where you go in to rob banks. Payday is fun. I like Payday, and then Payday 2 is pretty good too.
Griffins and Gargoyles. What the
Griffins
fuck
and
is Griffins and Gargoyles?
I'm gonna look that up.
I was about
'cause
to
that sounds
say,
familiar.
like, what the fuck is Griffins and Gargoyles? That does not sound familiar to me. Dude, if you Google Griffins and Gargoyles, the images that pop up are terrifying.
Yeah, are literally Griffins and Gargoyles.
And that's not what I'm getting. I'm getting like there's like this woman, like, what the fuck is up with some of this shit?
No, I don't know.
Oh my god, that is terrifying. Why? What kind of game are you playing, Milo? No, I'm joking.
Oh, from Riverdale?
Oh, maybe that's why I don't know the game. Gotcha. That would explain it. I've never seen that show. Speaking of shows, I'm not going to spoil anything, but like we watched Ozarks, like the last season of Ozarks.
Oh, Ozark's so good.
That
I
was
love
good.
Ozark.
Yeah, that was a good season. Did you see the most recent season?
Mhm.
It was good.
I watched so much. I watched so many TV shows. I finished Dead to Me today. That
Is
show's
that-
actually really funny.
I was about to say, is that worth? It's Netflix.
I think
right?
it's worth watching. Yeah, I think it's
Okay.
worth watching. It's good. I watched a Korean drama called Itaewon Class, and I really, really liked it. I'm not sure if anybody's into Korean dramas.
I've never seen a
Um,
Korean drama before.
But Itaewon Class was good. Dead to Me is really good. I finished this other reality show, and they would build these classic cars from scratch.
Mm.
Forgot what it's called though. Rust Brothers, I think, or something of Rust Valley, Restorers of Rust Valley, or something like that.
I do like those kind of
Yeah.
shows.
Yeah, I like those. I like those auto shows where they build things from, from nothing.
Now,
There's a
did-
couple other ones I've seen too, and same with the motorcycle ones too. I like Orange County Choppers. I watched a lot of that.
Now, did you watch Tiger King?
I have not.
You
I
need
gotta,
to
I gotta
watch.
start watching that. I completely forgot about Tiger King.
You need to watch Tiger King. Yeah.
Okay, that'll be one
You need to.
watch.
I'm trying to think what else we've watched recently. Newest season of What We Do in the Shadows is really funny.
What is that on Hulu?
Yes, it is on
Okay.
Hulu. Yeah, it's. I mean,
Yes, Rust Valley Restoration. That's it.
it's also on FX, but yeah, it's on Hulu. It's a good show. Yeah.
Yeah. I gotta check it out. I gotta check out Tiger King too.
You.
You.
I don't know if I've heard of you.
I started watching it. I should finish that. Is it the show about the stalker? And the whole show is about through his point of view. Yes, I started watching it, but I didn't finish it. I gotta keep watching it.
Mm.
It's good too.
I bet that would be good.
Yeah. So that show is very interesting because it tells you his point of view, which which in a very odd way, like you can kind of see it. You can kind of, I don't want to say relate, but you can kind of understand. But
Huh.
I don't think I've gotten to the point where shit just gets really crazy. I don't think I've gotten to that point yet. Or I should say the story gets really like out there. I've only seen like the beginning parts. I think I've only seen like the first 2-3 episodes. Shit hits the fan. Okay, I figured. I
I'm
gotta
sure
watch
it does, right? I mean, it has to keep you interested at some point.
Yeah.
We went all over the place tonight. This is good. This was
Yeah.
good.
So typically we have a topic of discussion that we usually do, and it's usually about something that happened at work or something that we encountered throughout the week. But due to the circumstances, since we're all kind of just locked in at home, there's really nothing that we encounter. My week is home, and then once a week I go to the grocery store. That's really all my week is.
Yeah.
Oh, Dexter's good too.
Yeah, Dexter
Dexter's so
Dexter
fucking
was
good.
really good. I didn't like
I
how it
hated
ended.
Yeah, I was gonna say I hated the ending, but
Yeah.
I really love that show
I do
as a
like
whole.
I do like Dexter.
Everything about that show, sans the ending, it was an amazing show. I loved it.
Did you ever see 6 Feet Under?
What's that show about? 6 Feet Under?
So it has Michael C. Hall. Like it's a family that has a funeral home.
Wait, it's Michael C. Hall's in that too?
Mm-hmm.
He's so good at
It's the show he was in. It took place before Dexter. Like as far as like
Oh wow,
time.
it came out 2001. Okay,
It's really good.
I gotta check that out.
Yeah, you should. Trust me, it's really good.
It's a good time to catch up on shows and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, no, 6 Feet Under. It's good. Yeah, I don't really have anything interesting like work wise to talk about. Like, I got a new case that's gonna be very interesting. It would be hard to talk about it because if I gave details, one could possibly figure out who this person is if they actually did digging. So like I can't really talk about that case.
Really?
But it possibly, yeah, because there's like homicide and stuff involved. So possibly. Yeah. So like I can't get into that one, but it's super interesting.
Wow.
I like how I'm telling you this is gonna be really interesting, but I can't fucking tell you anything about it.
Yeah,
No.
no, man. It should just
Yeah.
kept under the raft. Now,
I
now
know,
I'm just
yeah.
like,
I could tell you off stream maybe, but
yeah.
no, but like you would have to do digging, like lots and lots and lots and lots of digging. Like it wouldn't be an easy thing to figure out. It's not local
Right.
to us, so it's not like one of those. Like it won't make any of our news or anything like that. But it's it'll be interesting. But all my other cases are really just like cut and dry, so there's
Yeah.
nothing really interesting to talk about with them.
Yeah.
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 But yeah,
So
unless oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go
no,
ahead.
no, you.
Okay. No, so remember how I used to work at the other location? As
Yeah.
just a counselor?
Mhm.
So I touched base with some of the folks at for some reason, people just started randomly reaching out to me over the past week. Like I've had some of my staff reach out to me, ask me how I was doing. And then I've had some counselors from another facility reach out to me, ask me how I was doing. And so I've had like maybe 3-4 different people just randomly reach out to me out of the blue and ask me how I was doing. Well, it turns out one of the facilities had a COVID outbreak. that actually
Oh
had a COVID
shit.
outbreak. Yeah, 4 people were infected at that at the facility.
Not the
Yeah.
one that we worked at
No, not
together.
well. I don't know.
Oh, we don't know which
Oh,
one.
no, I know which one, but I don't know if anybody at our
Oh,
the one that we
gotcha.
worked at was infected. I wouldn't be surprised if anybody did.
Mm, we got out at the right time, dude.
Yeah, yeah.
um, Milo, how do I set up a meeting? Are you as rephrase the question? What do you mean? I'm just gonna say that. Yeah, I guess that is one thing I did today that was interesting, but I don't. I mean, so like my wife is giving a presentation through her work. They do this fun thing where like they do presentations to kind of show like people at this company do other things besides work at the company. So she's giving a presentation on the man trailing that she does. Um, and that sounds really weird to say my wife man trails. So to explain, we have a bloodhound, and the bloodhound and her are learning how to like trail people and find people who like run away or search and rescue and stuff like that. Okay, that's what I thought you were asking, Milo. I'll answer that in a second. Yeah, so like for her demonstration, we did a little mini trail today where one of our friends came over and like walked and hid on our property, and our bloodhound found the person.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it was kind of cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah. So Milo, I hate to say it, but you can't set up a meeting with me because that would be unethical. Because I know you in a like a friend context. That would be called having a dual relationship. So like I can't be a therapist to someone that I'm friends with or know. So I could help you find a therapist, but I can't be your therapist, unfortunately. Ethics and rules and whatnot. Because I couldn't be objective, right? That's the reason for it. Yeah, is I couldn't be objective. Same reason why I can't. If my wife has a hard time, I can't be her therapist, right? Because I couldn't be objective. Because at the end of the day, my clients' lives don't impact me. So that's how I'm able to be objective and have like unconditional positive regard and all that sort of stuff that a therapist has to have. Because at the end of the day, like they're just a random person and it doesn't impact me. So yeah. But if you ever need a therapist, I can help you find one. But yeah. I do encourage if you ever need one to go get one though. They can be good. They can also be shitty like anyone else. You can have good doctors, bad doctors, good therapists, bad therapists, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I should find one for myself.
Honestly, if it wasn't for money, I think everyone could use a therapist, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, just having someone who like is objective that you could talk to. That's what it sounded like. My wife is now saying I can't have unconditional positive regard for her. No, what I'm saying is that she knows what I mean. I'm not gonna go into that. Well, I mean, I could talk to you as like a friend. If you ever want to like have like a friend talk, we could talk. But like I won't like therapize you. But yeah. But I do think everyone could use therapy, honestly. Like just having someone you could talk to that like you could tell your deepest, darkest stuff with. Yeah, man. So I mean, vaping helps a bit. Yeah, vaping makes everything better. I do like vaping. I do. Much cheaper than smoking.
Let me ask you something.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think vaping is worse than smoking?
Okay, so that's a great question. I don't think we truly know the answer yet, right? Like, I don't know if it's been around long enough, like, for us to know. What my doctor told me was it can't be any worse for you
Right.
than smoking, is what my doctor told me. Because when I was, he would basically said, like, I'm not going to tell you it's better for you, because he basically said, like, I don't think we know yet. But he was like,
I don't think he can tell you that it's better for you because it's like, is it really though?
I don't know.
Like legally, is he allowed to tell you that?
If there was like studies that showed that like it had like lower rates of like cancer and stuff, I guess he could, right?
Yeah.
Like, cause he wouldn't be saying it's good for you. Like it's like a
Right.
daily multivitamin, you know, vape a day keeps the doctor away. But like,
Right.
I imagine if there was like studies that showed like that it was, you know, less harmful than like cigarettes, then I guess he could say that. But he basically told me that like he can't imagine that it could be worse for you than smoking cigarettes.
Okay.
Is basically what he said.
I'm just curious where people's standpoints are because I hear opinions from everywhere.
Yeah.
And so I had to do a little digging myself. And I kind of came up with my own opinion.
Which is?
I don't think it's worse than smoking. By far. By like a landslide. How long did you smoke cigarettes for?
So I started when I was like 16,
Mm.
and I started vaping when I was out of college. I was with my wife. So I mean I've only been vaping probably now for like, and my wife in the chat can give me a better timeline because my memory sucks, but probably like 3 years I've been vaping, maybe 4 years. So like 13 years I smoked or so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Math
I
hard.
smoked
That
for-
sounds about right.
Yeah. I smoked for about 10, 11 years. And the way I felt when I came about like 10 years of smoking, I felt like shit.
I don't wake up with that
So-
feeling like someone's standing on my chest anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I did when I
That's the
smoked.
feeling-
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the feeling that I got. And so I was just like, man, I need to stop this shit. So I went cold turkey. I went cold turkey for about 4 years. Cold turkey. I didn't touch a single cigarette for 4 years. And then I started getting that craving again. And then I picked up a cigarette, and then that cigarette turned into 2. And then I noticed that I was smoking like 1 a day. And I was just like, no. I'm not doing this shit again. And so I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to pick up a vape.
Yeah.
And so I started vaping a little bit, and then I upgraded to like the more elaborate ones. But
Yeah, my memory is dog shit. I've been vaping since like 2013. So like 7
Yeah.
years. Which means
Okay.
I smoked for like 16. When was I 16? I'm born in 87. Man, math is hard. Anyway, I smoked for like 10 years or so, we'll just say.
yeah.
Just to make things simpler. What'd you smoke?
But from Marlboro Lights.
Hmm.
But from first hand, I tell you, just the way that you feel, there's no way vaping is fucking worse for you.
Yeah, that
Like,
is true.
Cigarettes is literally arsenic. It's literally poison. Like, you know what's in it. Like, this is like, I'm not saying like inhaling anything into your lungs besides air or maybe steam is like not good for you, of course.
Sure, yeah. What the fuck are Talons? Have you ever heard of a Talon cigarette?
No, I haven't smoked.
Yeah, what the
Never
fuck?
heard of
What the
Talons.
fuck is a Talon? I smoked a Camel Turkish Royal. That's what I smoked. They were really
Okay.
good. I like
I fuck
those.
with those too.
Mm-hmm.
I like Parliaments too.
The P Funks.
Yeah, the P-Funks.
Yeah.
I smoked P-Funks for a little bit. But
Uh,
Marlboro Light was my, and then I smoked Ultralights. I was just like, you know what? If I'm gonna do this shit,
That's
I
just
might
like
as well-
inhaling oxygen. We smoking ultralights.
Yeah.
Talon cig.
Talons.
Are you talking about cigars? Or cigarettes? A Talon filter.
Talon filters.
Wait, it's a cigar. No, is it a cigarette?
Well, the miniature cigars are cigarillos. And the step below that is cigarettes, right?
I
Like
also
a, like
saw.
a Black and Mild is a cigarillo, right?
Yeah. I don't know,
Oh,
man.
filtered cigars.
I went through a clove phase when I was in high school. I smoked cloves for a while.
Yeah.
Not proud of that,
Oh,
but I
yeah.
did that for a while too.
Oh, the REM Blacks. I remember the REM Blacks.
Mhm.
I smoked the REM Blacks too sometimes. Those are like a treat because when you lick your lips afterwards, it tastes like
Mhm.
cinnamon.
Yeah, dude, those are nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they like
Black
popped
and Milds.
when you like smoked
Black
them.
and
They
Milds
kind
just
of
smelled good. Yeah. Black and Milds just smell good. I'm so happy I quit that shit, dude. Cigarettes are so fucking bad.
also smoke from time to time, but
Yeah.
it'll be like I'll buy a pack and I'll smoke like a cigarette a day or something like that. Like I don't really like, yeah.
Yeah. I used to smoke cigars too. I used to smoke cigars. I loved Alec Bradley. The Alec Bradley Prensados are my favorite.
I never really smoked cigars.
Yeah. I still have my cigar poker here.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Got my cigar poker here. You smoke when you're drinking. Yeah,
That
they
sounds about
typically go
right.
hand in hand. So I kind of quit drinking too. I don't really drink anymore. The last drink I had was 6 months ago, 7 months ago. But before that, it was like the same amount of time, 6, 7 months.
You sure about that? I'm not sure that's accurate. Didn't you go to the Christmas party?
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
But before that, it was my housewarming when I moved back into my house,
Yeah,
which was a few months before that, right?
I think so.
Between then and the Christmas party, I didn't touch a drop of alcohol.
Yeah.
Remember when I was at your house?
Yeah,
I never touched a beer.
that is true. Well, yeah, you also had to
didn't
drive
touch a
home,
beer.
so I also figured you
Yeah.
went. Well, you had beer when we. Of course, that may have been longer before. I said you had a beer
No, that was-
when we did
that was 5
Korean
months ago.
barbecue.
Korean barbecue? Oh, that was way back then, dude.
How long ago was that?
That was way before I even moved in.
That could be true.
Yeah, that was before I even moved back.
Shit, was I still living in Centerville then? No, I had this
No, no,
house.
no,
I was
no.
up here
Yeah,
then. Yeah.
Yeah, when I met you, you had this house. I remember because we talked about building your PC,
Oh
and
yeah.
we talked about how far you lived, and you told me that ahead of time. You're just like, just to let you know, if you want to build my PC, I live all the way out in so and so or
That's
this
true.
area.
I do. You can do donations on stream. I think my panel below there should be a donate button.
Help a brother out.
I think. Aw. Oh yeah, you just did. Well, thank you, Milo. Shit, you didn't have to do that, but thank you. I appreciate the donation. Yeah, that's very kind of you. You really didn't have to do that though.
It is.
And for the record, he donated and asked before I said about donation. I wasn't saying you have to donate for this. So for everyone, no one has to donate. I just want to make that clear. Just because of all the shit that you see on Twitter now, like have you seen like the outpouring of like these streamers that are like, I'm ending my stream because you guys aren't donating or all those things? Like have you seen those videos?
Yeah.
Shit's crazy.
Crazy. I just think that's so. I just think I don't know if it's my pride talking, but I don't. I find that humiliating. I find that kind of embarrassing to like ask for money.
It is. And some of the videos I saw were like satire, but like others, not so much.
It's so embarrassing for me to ask for money. That's why I never ask for money from people. Like I can't do it.
Yeah. Donate to me. I can eyeball exactly 18 inches.
You guys clipped that, right?
Jesus Christ. Yeah, I'm sure that'll be on Twitter later, but
No context, Don Tony.
honestly, if
eyeball
people
18
if
inches.
if people
That
comb
can be
through
my
my
next stream title. The next time I stream, I can eyeball 18 inches and dash Don Tony Lamb.
Oh man, there's so many bad things out there. If you go on Jeremy Dowsett's stream and you do !Dawn, he has a quote from me also that says, I was versed in vagina pre-WoW. Yeah, there's a bunch of if you scour my streams, you'll hear a bunch of really bad out of context quotes probably.
That's funny.
Well, if no one has any other questions, we'll probably wrap up this for tonight. But this is normally every Wednesday. We missed like the past 2 weeks, but we're
Oh,
back.
just 1 week.
1 week. Okay. Well,
We missed
Yeah.
last week. I was in a lot of pain last week. I wouldn't have been able to sit here.
well, it worked well too because I had a rescheduled session,
Oh yeah, that's
so
right.
it worked. It was like neither of us could do it. But normally this is
Yeah.
every Wednesday at 8:00.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, if you guys have questions, just hit up me or hit up Don Tony, and just hit us with any questions that you have.
Yeah, and like anytime you all have like topics you want to hear discussed or questions, yeah, just DM us, or you could just tweet and tag us, and then we can definitely talk about them in the next episode. Well, I appreciate that, Sheep, and I appreciate everyone. Milo, thank you so much for this, for the like donation. Apocalypse for the sub. You all coming out and watching. I didn't even realize. Damn, 9 viewers. You all are crazy. Really appreciate you all coming out. And after this, I'm gonna take a 5-minute break, but then I'm gonna be streaming some Siege. So
Oh, you streaming tonight?
yeah, I'm gonna be playing some
nice.
Siege. Yeah.
Nice.
I figured to help get my mind off shit, I'm gonna play tonight. Like I'll also be
Yeah.
streaming tomorrow like normal, but just
Yeah.
because if I wasn't streaming, I'm just gonna be sitting there ruminating on shit, and that's not helpful. So
Yeah. Well, that's good.
yeah, absolutely.
All right, I'll host you then.
Aw, well, thank you. But yeah, so I'm gonna close my stream down because I have to like my webcam won't work unless I turn it off because of the Discord call and stuff. But Mind Games will be back next week at 8 o'clock, and then yeah. And if you guys want to stick around for a Siege stream, the stream will be back up in like 5 minutes or less.
Hey, hang on the line, Don, real quick.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, but thanks again, everyone, for coming out. And I hope some of you will stick around for the Siege stream coming up.
All right, y'all.
Thank you, everyone.
Peace.